Welcome to Engineering Futures. This is a scholarship event for future engineers from throughout the Chicagoland area. My name is Debbie Burrell, and I'm the Executive Director of the Chicago Engineers Foundation. We have an awesome program today. We're presenting it in partnership with many scholarship providers and organizations, and we're all working to offer resources for students who are poised to become the next generation of engineers. This is National Engineers Week. And E-Week was founded in 1951. It's an annual week-long celebration dedicated to ensuring a diverse and well-educated future engineering workforce. This year's theme, Imagining Tomorrow, fits perfectly with the focus of today's event, and we're excited to share a variety of resources to empower Chicago students into college and beyond. Our agenda today includes meeting many Chicago area engineering scholarship providers. We're also going to hear about scholarship resources from the Chicago Public Schools Scholarship Department. We're going to get some research tips for scholarships from Just the Right Amount, which is a scholarship consulting firm. And of course, at the end of our presentation today, we're going to have a Q&A session where you are more than welcome to ask questions of all of our different guests here today. But throughout the conversation, you're welcome to put questions in the chat, and we'll get to as many as we possibly can this afternoon. With that, we're going to go ahead and get started. And I am pleased to welcome NIhar Shah and Tom Janicki, who will tell us about opportunities available from the Illinois section of the American Society of Civil Engineers.
Thank you, Debbie. Hello, my name is NIhar Shah, and I'm with the Illinois section of the American Society of Civil Engineers. I serve as the chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee for the Illinois section. In efforts to promote engineering to minority students, we have a scholarship that we have worked out with the Notre Dame Introduction to Engineering Camp, where we provide basically a full scholarship to attend the program, which includes tuition, room, board, and transportation. The eligible candidates would be minority high school students from the Cook and Collier counties area, completing their third year of high school and have completed 3 years of high school level mathematics and 1 year of science coursework in either chemistry or physics. The camp has 2 sessions, so we would have one student attend one of basically the scholarship is for one student to attend one of these sessions. And a little bit of what goes on camp elicited here as well is you get a little, because you are staying on the campus, you get a taste of college life. You get a chance to visit the Notre Dame campus in South Bend, Indiana, and meet some faculty from the College of Engineering. You get a kind of an update on what kind of opportunities are there in the engineering field. You get to explore the different types of engineering that are out there. You get to tour the state-of-the-art facilities on Notre Dame's campus, and a chance to meet other professional engineers, and also the chance to meet other students from around the country that are also interested in engineering. The application is actually due next week. I think so. March 3rd is the submission deadline. You can find the application at the link I included in the presentation below. And I can give, or I guess Debbie, I don't know if you're sharing everyone's contact information, but any questions or applications can be sent directly to me. And if I assume something will be shared so that you have all that contact information as needed. So yeah, we're really excited about it. Last year it had to be postponed, and to be honest, this year they're still finalizing it. In terms of the if it will be a live camp or not due to the COVID situation. So hopefully we'll have a resolution on that in March, but we are still accepting applications as if the camp is a go. So please do submit if you are interested, and thanks for inviting me, Debbie.
All right, thanks. Thank you, Debbie and NIhar. My name is Tom Janicki, and I'm also on the same board of the Illinois section of the American Society of Civil Engineers with NIhar. I'm a practicing civil and structural engineer, And just in case you're not familiar with the Illinois section of ASCE, we're a professional organization, part of the National Society. We're the local branch that's mostly the Chicago area and Collier counties, and been around since 1916. And I believe the scholarship program that we offer to university students has been around, I believe, since the 80s. So it's been going on a really long time and has kind of grown steadily over the years. But this year and last year, I'm in charge of it, and it's something that we offer to students at ABET accredited programs studying civil engineering at University of Illinois Chicago, IIT at Northwestern. And the scholarships are really funded by our individual technical institutes that operate within the Illinois section. You can see them listed there: structural, geotechnical, the New Construction Institute. There's also Transportation Development Institute, Environmental Water Resources, and Urban Planning. So we kind of have all these side technical groups that operate under the umbrella of the Illinois section, and they have their own events, and they're able to fund these scholarships for students themselves. So it's a really great program we have. I really enjoy visiting the colleges and talking to students as part of this. And to be eligible, you have to be a university student studying civil engineering and one of those schools in the Illinois section. You have to be an ASCE member, which is free for all students. So it's just something you can sign up for and get your student membership. We evaluate, they turn in an application with an essay, and usually they apply to some or several or all of the different scholarships. So, you know, somebody might be interested in two disciplines, they could apply for the structural scholarship and construction, for instance. And many students do that. The way we do it is there's only one winner per, so every year we'll have 13 different winners, which is really great for the students. They submit an essay, resume, transcript, that kind of thing. And each individual board of the technical institutes, depending on which scholarship they're applying to, will read the applications, and it's, you know, based on interest in that particular field and academic, you know, and the letters of recommendation, so on, typically. So this year's scholarships, we have 13 different ones, totaling a good amount of money this year. Pretty excited about it. It's the most we've ever had, and the deadline to apply is March 15th. And same as NIhar said, I didn't put my email in here, but Debbie has it. So if anybody wants to reach out to me after, they can just send me an email personally. I can give more information.
Awesome. Thank you both for telling us about the ASCE opportunities. I'm going to be speaking on behalf of the American Public Works Association. The APW Metro chapter, another engineering association, offers numerous opportunities to help fund training, education, and degree programs. They have scholarship opportunities that are offered at the regional and the local chapter level, and that includes the city, the Southwest, Fox Lake, Lake, and Suburban. The city branch offers opportunities for both full and part-time students enrolled in an associate, a bachelor's, or graduate degree program, and they are related to public works field, and that of course includes many different types of engineering. You can visit chicagoapwa.net and you'll find links to the local chapters, and you can also search scholarships for details. And now I'm pleased to welcome Kelly Francis, who's with Calculated Genius.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelly Francis and I'm the Executive Director of Calculated Genius, a nonprofit organization here in Chicago dedicated to helping students explore the world of engineering. So we have outreach events and STEM programs for high school students. And then we also have our STEM in a Scholarship, which is an ode to our founder, Kimberly Moore, who's an engineer and entrepreneur. So she has set up the scholarship fund, and we give scholarships to female high school seniors that are going to be studying engineering or computer science in college from the greater Chicagoland area. So you do not have to be a CPS only student as long as you're from the Chicago metropolitan area with a minimum of a 3.0 GPA. Our scholarship is merit-based, so a couple of things that you can expect in the application are to include your transcript, letter of recommendation, and an essay of why you're pursuing engineering. We really want to kind of hear what your career goals are or your personal pursuits within engineering. You could find more and the scholarship at calculatedgenius.org/scholarships, and the deadline is April 16th. We last year awarded $40,000 in scholarships to 15 students from the Chicagoland area. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. I'm going to be speaking, of course, on behalf of the Chicago Engineers Foundation. We have been a scholarship provider for more than 50 years. Our incentive award program is merit-based scholarship awards. They are renewable annually, and our entry point is when one is graduating from high school. Our awards are renewable through 4 continuous years of undergraduate studies. So if a student starts with us as a graduating high school senior and then wins an award, they can come back to us year over year as they continue to meet eligibility requirements. The total value over those 4 years comes to $5,000. Our entry point for our graduating high school seniors is $1,000 if they are awarded a scholarship with us starting with the class of 2021. So speaking of the class of 2021, our awards are open to graduating high school seniors who either live or go to high school within the city of Chicago. Our students do need to be studying any engineering major in college, starting with the fall 2021 semester to be eligible for this current cycle. In addition to the typical scholarship award questions, we do ask our students to upload an acceptance letter from an ABET accredited 4-year undergraduate engineering program. Universities don't have to be in the city of Chicago. Our students literally go to just about any engineering school one could think of across the country, but they do all start here in the city as graduating high school seniors. We also ask our students to upload their transcript, and we'll request additional information, short essays and things like that. The whole application can take about an hour or so, and it's an application portal. It's all online. It's password protected, where students can go in and out of their application throughout the awards cycle or application cycle. And right now that application cycle is open now through April 1st. Students can visit us at chicagoengineersfoundation.org, or they can find us on Academic Works, where you'll find eligibility information, additional information about CEF and the programs that we have for our students. And of course, you can jump in and start filling that out at that application at any point.
I will be presenting for IEEE, the Chicago section. So the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers offers grants and scholarships to college students working towards electronic or electrical engineering degrees. They do have preference given to IEEE student members, so be sure to check out membership information on their website. Local opportunities include the Chicago chapter of the IEEE EMC Society Scholarship Program, which is open to students in the greater 6-county metropolitan Chicago area. Students need to be declared majors with 25% of their coursework completed. You can visit emcchicago.org for details.
And I'm going to be speaking on behalf of IPLAC, which is the Intellectual Property Law Association of Chicago. Scholarships are awarded annually to graduating high school seniors who are attending Chicago public schools. The majors they consider for their annual awards are any engineering major, plus the sciences and pre-law. The application is available via the CPS Academic Works portal, and it closes every year on March 15th. Applicants do need to provide their transcript along with their application, and they'll need to produce their ACT or SAT scores with their submission. And to find out more information, students can visit IPLAC.org or Academic Works for additional information about the IPLAC Awards. And now please welcome Jenna Brose. She's with the Illinois section of the Institute of Transportation Engineers.
Hi, everyone. Jenna Brose with ITE Illinois section. We are a professional organization that brings together transportation professionals and planners in order to network and learn and grow. We have 3 different student scholarships. As you can see, there is a $2,000 scholarship for both an undergraduate and 1 graduate student. For students that are in a way to encourage students to consider transportation engineering or planning in their studies and career aspirations, and to provide some of that financial support. We also have a student paper award, which is awarded annually to a single graduate student who submits a paper that goes through a panel of judges, and they're all reviewed and scored and gotten back to. Eligibility is to be currently enrolled in a graduate program in Illinois or permanent resident of Illinois. And that award is $1,000. You can find out more about both of these at illinoisite.org. They're both annual, and we start collecting applications in November to December, and they're awarded in late December, and then you're invited to our annual banquet where we present you with a plaque. So we're always looking for ways to get students more involved, so please don't hesitate to reach out. And ITE membership is free as an undergrad and $30 a year as a grad student.
Thanks, Jenna. I'll be speaking on behalf of NISBE Chicago, which is the National Society of Black Engineers Chicago chapter. They offer a variety of opportunities for high school and college students via NISBE junior and collegiate chapters, and you can find out about those via their website. The Chicago chapter is actually hosting an e-week event today for high school students, and it's tonight at 6 p.m. I found that on their website, so check it out. They do have that open, and they have tons of different opportunities they'll be doing tonight specific to our high school students in Chicago. And they annually host several different scholarship opportunities. They are kind of ever changing in terms of who is supporting them. Different companies are involved. You can visit chicagonisbe.org for details.
I will be presenting for NSP, which is the Illinois Society of Professional Engineers, which is part of the National Society of Professional Engineers Chicago chapter. They offer scholarships to Illinois students enrolled in ABET accredited engineering programs. The deadline to apply for their scholarships is March 31st. Opportunities include scholarships for high school graduates, undergraduates, as well as graduate students. You could visit nspe.org for details and application links.
The SCEI is the Structural Engineers Association of Illinois. The Structural Engineers Association of Illinois has campus chapters at IIT, at UIC, and at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. They annually host scholarship application cycles for current undergraduate and graduate students that close in April. For all of their scholarship categories, applicants do need to be enrolled in good standing in a civil engineering or architectural engineering program at a recognized university and plan to continue with a structural engineering specialization. You can visit scaoi.org and search for college and university student resources for details on their scholarships as well as their other student opportunities.
The Society of Women Engineers, also known as SCEI, Chicago Regional Section, will be awarding 2 different types of scholarships. 3 to 5 scholarships will be awarded to graduating high school seniors who are pursuing a degree in engineering or computer science. And 1 scholarship will be awarded to a current undergraduate student studying engineering or computer science at an accredited college or university. Applications must come from female students, and applicants must live in specific Illinois and Indiana zip codes within the Chicago region. You could visit chicago.swe.org for further details.
The Women in Transportation Greater Chicagoland chapter has several undergraduate and graduate scholarships that they award annually each May. Scholarships are available to university and community college students who are pursuing degrees in transportation-related engineering majors. Now, the deadline has already passed for this one. They award in May, but they did collect applications for 2021 in December. So bookmark this one for next year, but definitely visit WTSinternational.org and the Greater Chicago page because they have all sorts of student opportunities in addition to their scholarships that one can get involved in. And what we're going to do now is we're going to transition to welcome Michelle Howard. Michelle is the Senior Scholarship Manager with Chicago Public Schools Office of College and Career Resources. She is going to take it from here and talk about resources that one can find from her office. Go ahead, Michelle.
Good afternoon, everyone. Super excited to be here with you. And thanks again, Debbie, and all of these great scholarships that you're spitting out. I love to hear that they're on Academic Works, which is our Chicago Public Schools tool that is intended to connect students to scholarships. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen in just a second. There it is. I have so many presentations up right now. As Debbie shared, she's going to provide this information to you all after this event, which is really great because as a scholarship of Chicago Public Schools, I recognize how intense it is to have all of these scholarships thrown at you, right? Especially during this time of year, if you're a senior, you've done with your college applications in a sense, but now you have some really important decisions to make, right? You've been working on your FAFSA, you're still trying to actually graduate and go to class, right? And so scholarships are an additional layer on top of that, but scholarships become a very important component to your success and access to college. So I want to make sure that we continue to connect students to our opportunities, many of those that were mentioned prior to this. And I mean, the list just kept coming, right? The great thing about the scholarships that they shared was that they were specific to those students who are looking to go into engineering. But I want to make sure, especially if you're a Chicago Public School student, that you're connected to the opportunities that are just because you are a CPS student, or just because you have a certain GPA, or just because you are an African-American male, or you're Latina, or whatever. So we have a lot of scholarship opportunities that are not specific to your major, but can be more specific to your grade point average. And so we want to make sure that we prepare and equip you to access that information as well. So what those scholarships are called in Chicago Public Schools are strategic scholarships. This means that these scholarship partners that I work with directly, like Debbie and her team with the CEF, like SCEI, like Calculated Genius, they are looking to award scholarships specifically to Chicago Public School students. So that can be an organization, a company, an institution, a foundation, an individual, even a family that's looking to award funds to students who are in Chicago or Chicago Public Schools, who are in Illinois, who are in the Midwest region. And I want to help make sure that you're connected. In Chicago Public Schools, the last 2020 was the fifth consecutive class, fifth consecutive class that was offered over $1 billion in scholarship opportunities. And so if you don't go to Chicago Public Schools, that's okay. If an opportunity is available for you on the public-facing side of our website, which I'll share with you, you can access these opportunities as well. We're not stingy with the goods, but I do want you, specifically Chicago Public School students, to know that these scholarships are intended for you. So the way that I promote, and you've heard Debbie share, you've heard Kelly share, these scholarships are posted on the Academic Works tool, which is our web-based CPS scholarship tool, where I house all of the postings for these scholarships. So as they said, you can go to the CEF website to find some scholarships, but those scholarships are going to hook and connect you back to the Academic Works tool, which I manage to help ensure that students have access to these opportunities. By the end of the school year, in Chicago Public Schools, we have promoted over 200 scholarships. So trust me, this is the tool that you want to get familiar with, okay? So what I want you to do, and I'll put this in the chat after my presentation, you can do this right now, or you can wait until Ms. Burrell sends you the follow-up documents. But I want you to compose an email directly to me. My direct email is collegescholarships@cps.edu. Don't worry, we'll throw this in the chat. In the subject line, I want you to put CEF event, which helps me know that you connected with me here at this event today. You don't have to put anything in the body of the email. I know you fancy folks are like, who sends an email with nothing in the body? Trust me, this is not about what's in your email. It's about what you're going to get back. And so once you send that email, I want you to refresh, and you will get an auto response that looks kind of similar to this. And so remember, we'll get this to you. And if you email me, you'll get this information as well. All of these links here are live, but I'm going to quickly walk you through some of the resources that we have in place to connect you to our CPS scholarships. So the first link is to our scholarship email blast, and this becomes really important. So whether you're a senior, whether you're a freshman, whether you're in 8th grade, whether you're a parent, whether you're a partner who wants to get connected to CPS scholarships, whether you're a mentor who has a mentee who's in CPS, this is where it's at for you. We want to connect with you through our email blast. When you click there, it's going to be a quick form. It's going to ask you who you are. So if you're a student, it'll ask you your grade level, your school name, and it's going to ask you a range of your GPA, both unweighted and weighted. It's going to ask you a range of your test score. Now, I want to stick a pin in that test score component. Right now, we know that we are in dire times and it's unprecedented times and all these other big words about what's happening during the pandemic, right? So I will be fully transparent with you. I feel like I'm at home when I'm in front of my CEF crew. I have taken full advantage of this time for our students. So I'm asking for every single deadline that I can get. So Debbie mentioned the IPLAC scholarship and that they usually close in March. They have extended their deadline. I have your back. Their deadline is extended until April 18th. Okay, so you'll see that when you go on and check out their scholarship on the Academic Works tool. I've also asked every scholarship provider explicitly to reconsider the test score. Now, some of you guys have taken your test, your SAT, your ACT. You did well, not a problem. But the reality is, if you have taken your test during the pandemic, if you were fearful of test taking before, you were terrified of taking it now, right? So we've asked a number of scholarship providers to waive the test score or omit it completely. By waiving, I mean if you have a test score and you'd like to submit it, you can. If you have a test score and you don't want to submit it, you don't have to, and it will not be counted against you. Or they remove it completely. So we've had several scholarships, the McKinsey Diverse Leader Scholarship, which you'll find in our CPS scholarship resources. This year, having that conversation with them, not only did they wipe out their test score, but they wiped out their GPA requirement as well. So many more students have access to those opportunities. So I highly encourage you to sign up for the Scholarship Manager email blast, because I will be able to send you information directly to your inbox based on your academic eligibility, okay? The next tool that we have that links you back to Academic Works is really one of my favorites, and they're secretly all my favorite because I made them all. But this is a scholarship alert workbook that is literally a big Google Excel sheet where it has separate tabs. The first tab gives you an overview of the resources that we have in the tool. The second tab is for elementary school students. So any opportunities that we have for elementary school students are listed in that second tab. In the third tab, we have opportunities for 9th through 11th graders. So in full transparency, it's not a whole lot, but those that we have are listed in that tab. Also internships for juniors, post-secondary preparation programs and activities. So again, all of that great information that we have for 9th or 11th grade students are listed in that third tab. Every tab thereafter are listed as months. So each month will have a listing of scholarships that are due within that month. We tell you the name of the scholarship. We tell you when the scholarship opens and closes. We give you a little bit of the eligibility criteria. We give you the amount of the scholarship. And then we give you the link to the posting in Academic Works so you can go and review and either apply on the Academic Works website or it will lead you to the website of the scholarship provider. So again, this is a great tool to help you navigate through all of the scholarships that are due within each month. And I know that somebody's going to be talking to you about tips on scholarship acquisition, but I'll just give you this one for free. You want to make sure that you're looking to apply for scholarships that are due within about a 2 to 3 month window, right? That could be 12 scholarships, that can be 25, but you want to make sure that you're consistently applying to scholarships over time because there are loads of them still available for you. The last big tool that we have is our Scholarship Alert Workbook. And Debbie, I promise I'm wrapping up. Is our scholarship Google Calendar, where when a scholarship provider sends us their information, we vet it to make sure that it's legitimate. We put it in our Academic Works tool. We send it out in the scholarship email blast. We put it in our Scholarship Alert Workbook, and then we put it on our Google Calendar, which means you're now looking at an actual calendar that shows you over the course of the month when scholarships are opening and when scholarships are closing. What events and activities are happening that are related to scholarships. This activity was on there today. So again, you can use this Google Calendar to help you navigate through making plans to apply for scholarships appropriately. You can bookmark both the Google Calendar and the Google Workbook, or you can go directly to the scholarships that you're looking to apply for and copy that opportunity to your calendar. Okay, so the goal is to try to align this and make it as easy as possible, because this stuff isn't easy, but as easy as possible to connect you to our resources. Finally, I want to ensure that you follow us on social media. I promise if you follow me, I will not follow you back. I don't care about your selfies, and I'm not trying to get in your business. But I do want to make sure that as you're scrolling through your social media, you're able to review our scholarship alerts. You're able to come across this type of activity and register for it straight from your Instagram page, right from your Twitter feed, and even on your Facebook page. Okay, so please make sure that you're following on social media. Another great thing about our social media is on our Instagram page, in our bio, we have a link tree that again outlines all of these resources that we have: the Academic Works Workbook, the link to the actual Academic Works tool, the sign up for the scholarship email blast, and closer to the bottom here, you'll see DePaul virtual essay editing. The number one reason that students win scholarships is not because they have great GPAs, not because they have great test scores, but because they have dynamic essays. The money is connected to the essay. So we've partnered with DePaul University and their peer review center that allows you as a student, whether it's a scholarship essay, whether it's a college application essay, whether it's an essay for class, right? They will review that essay for you, and you submit it by clicking on the link in our link tree. It takes you to their website. They have a quick form. You complete the form, upload your essay either via PDF or a Word document, and within 2 to 3 days, they will edit that essay and get it back to you. Trust me, this is where you will need the most help. And this is where students really forget to get assistance in getting essay edits. So please make sure that you take advantage. And again, you'll get this presentation and all the links in here are live. The very last thing that I want to share with you is that 1 in 5 scholarships that are online are fraudulent. We know that we are in the rise of scams and all of that stuff. So we've created, we've taken a scholarship vetting checklist tool from the National Scholarship Provider Association, and we've started to promote this to our students. So if a scholarship is requesting your personal banking information, your social security number, telling you that they'll give you the award via Western Union, PayPal, or Cash App, huge red flag. That's not the scholarship that you want to apply for, because it's probably not real. If they guarantee you that you're going to win, probably not real. If it requires an application fee, we're not paying money to get money. So please be mindful of that. So those are high level. We also have some more detailed scholarship vetting checklists for you to review. So again, these are just helpful tools to make sure that you're vetting the opportunities before you put your information in. If you connect with me on college scholarships at cps.edu, you will not have to worry about vetting the scholarships that I'm promoting. It is my job to make sure that they're legitimate. But I do want to encourage you to check out other websites that have other scholarships. These websites are legitimate, but there's plenty of other scholarship websites out there. I just want you to be safe and be careful before you input your information into these websites. So that is all from me. I'll be here for a few more minutes to take any questions in the chat. Well, I'll be here for the rest of the event, actually, Debbie. So I'll be able to take some questions in the chat and drop a few things in there for you as well. I hope that this was helpful for you, and I look forward to serving you as we move forward throughout the rest of the school year.
Michelle, thank you so very much for being here today. I am so honored to introduce is Kevin B. Banks Jr. Kevin is the founder of Just the Right Amount. He has a scholarship consulting firm. Kevin is a Chicago native. He graduated from Lindblom, so he is a CPS alum, and he's also an alum of the Milwaukee School of Engineering, where he attained a bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering. Kevin is also a CEF alum. He is a multi-year award recipient with Chicago Engineers Foundation, and he's also now on our advisory committee. Kevin is going to talk to us a little bit about his firm and about finding scholarship opportunities from both a student and a mentor perspective, as Kevin attained many different scholarships in addition to CEF. And he's going to tell us where to look and what to do next. Kevin, welcome.
Thank you, Debbie. It's a pleasure to be here. And like always, I'm very blessed and fortunate to be a recipient of the CEF Foundation. So again, it's a privilege to be here. Good evening, everyone, or afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. As stated, I am the founder and CEO of Just the Right Amount LLC and a CPS alum as well, having gone to Limblom Math and Science Academy as an academic center student and then graduating from the high school in 2014. One of the things I want to share with you all, and I'll share my screen with you briefly as I'm talking since I only have a couple minutes. But my business was basically born out of my experience getting scholarship dollars for college. So over the course of my 4.5 years of high school and undergrad combined, I received over $175,000 in scholarship money for my private engineering degree program. And of course, that wasn't covering everything. I wish it would have, but when I graduated, I only had about $25,000 in student loan debt left over versus some of my peers that had 50, 75, or 100. And one of the things that I can definitely say was very beneficial was really understanding that the scholarship process doesn't stop when you graduate from high school. There are scholarship opportunities available to you when you get into college, especially if you go to maybe certain schools that have direct pipelines with the city of Chicago, or you go to HBCUs like the Thurgood Marshall Foundation has tons of scholarship opportunities that are still open. And so as you can see on my screen, I'm showing, can you all see my screen, by the way? I'm sorry, it doesn't appear.
Looks good.
Yes, okay, perfect. So these are just some of the students that I've worked with so far. My business is fairly new, it's only under 2 years old, but some of the students that I've worked with go to Howard University, Georgia State University, and a master's at Emory University. And so I'm very proud of these students because they contacted me and said, hey, you know, I need some assistance just managing the scholarship process. I remember definitely what it was like as a senior in high school, feeling like, where do I begin? And so Limblom's counseling department was amazing. They were sending out scholarships, it seemed like every day, all throughout senior year. And so one of the things they encouraged us to do was really be proactive with that process. And so I learned very early on that having a system like Ms. Michelle Howard was just talking about, reusing old essays, getting letters of recommendation as early as possible, and really developing relationships with your counseling department and those that have the ability to help you apply for scholarships is incredibly beneficial. But on the flip side of that, I also learned, because I didn't necessarily get that full ride coming out of high school, that there are still scholarship opportunities available to you in your undergraduate year. So freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, I was still writing scholarship essays and scholarship applications. I received a couple of scholarships from the National Society of Black Engineers. It's Engineers Week, and I'm an engineer, so I definitely have to plug them. As Debbie mentioned, I was a multi-year recipient of the CEF Award, which I'm very grateful for. And then I also received a STEM Forward scholarship as well, along with several others from the city of Chicago throughout my undergraduate career. And so one of the things I just want to highlight to you all today is that it's very important to know your stuff when it comes to your academic and extracurricular profile. One of the things that I try to do with my students is leverage their academic and extracurricular profile to help them find the maximum amount of scholarship dollars available, really just the right amount to be able to go to college debt-free. And so these are just some of the students I've worked with. One of the other things I'll show you is some of the organizations that I've worked with as well. I've been blessed to be involved with Chicago Scholars, Lincoln Limited Scholars here in Chicago, Limblom Math and Science Academy, Dunbar Vocational Career Academy, the National Society of Black Engineers, the Joshua House, which is a nonprofit based out of my church on the west side of Chicago, BGS Group, and then Unprecedented Chicago, an up-and-coming nonprofit from a student that is a Limblom alum as well. And so these are just some of the organizations and partner schools that I've worked with to help their students be able to maximize their opportunities. And then lastly, one of the things I'll show you is some of the services that I provide for students. So I'll do one-on-one coaching or group coaching, depending on whether or not you're in a school or you want to work with several different students. So like Ms. Howard, I go through the process of vetting the scholarships that I'm looking at for my students. So based on your GPA, ACT score, whether or not you're captain of your volleyball team or you're involved in orchestra, I'll go out and I'll find different scholarships that fit your profile and then bring those to you as a student and say, hey, here are the scholarships that I think would be a great fit for you. And then I'll set a plan with the parent and the student to be able to start that process of walking through every single last scholarship opportunity you apply for. One of the things that I'm proud of is that I'm able to see students grow throughout the scholarship process. I'm not just a coach that goes through and you come see me once and that's it. I literally work with my students every week. I actually had a student that I was working with just before I joined this call. She's submitting a scholarship in the Houston area. So I'm not just based in Chicago due to COVID. I'm actually able to be virtual and be able to work with students across the country. So that's something I'm really proud of. And then the last thing I definitely want to show you all is similar to Ms. Howard. I post a lot of scholarship opportunities on my Instagram page. So this isn't just for high school seniors, it's also for current college students and graduate students as well. So if you see a scholarship on my Instagram page that you may not be eligible for right now, save it on your Instagram and then come back to it in a year, you may be eligible for it and then you'll have a leg up on your peers versus being able to just kind of lose track of it throughout the way. So I definitely will still be here to answer any questions. I'll drop the link from my website as well as my Instagram page, but please feel free to connect with me after this. You'll have access to all of my information if you go to the link in my bio on my Instagram page, and then my website will take you directly to me as well. Debbie, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin, for being here today. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate having you here as a former scholarship award recipient and now as a consultant, and Michelle here with all of this information that we're providing for our students and our educators and our parents on the call. So now, of course, we have thrown so much information at all of you today, and thank you for hanging in with us as we went through all the different scholarship providers for engineering students and for Michelle's presentation and Kevin's presentation. And now it's time for all of you. So we're going to open up a Q&A session right now. If you have questions of any of our speakers today or just general scholarship questions, feel free to put things in the chat. Feel free to raise a hand, if you will, virtually. We're more than happy to answer any and all questions. We also have several engineers here today, so if you have engineering related questions, they're right here, and this is a great opportunity to talk to engineering professionals as well. So feel free to start filling up the chat, and I see Michelle Howard shared her information, all the different steps to getting into her resources. Kevin just shared his information as well, how to find his resources. So feel free to jump in if you'd like. You can turn your camera on, leave it off, leave questions in the chat, whatever you prefer. All right, we do have a question from one of our guests. Can any of these scholarships apply to those who were already accepted into a pre-engineering program, specifically at UIUC?
So I will say that if you've already been accepted to a pre-engineering program and you're not necessarily enrolled yet, for example, the Chicago Engineers Foundation Scholarship is still open. So you should definitely go ahead and take advantage of that. I've always been of the mindset there's never such thing as too much money when it comes to scholarships and being able to finance your undergraduate career. So as many dollars as you can get leaving out of your high school career, get it. Because once you get to college, those opportunities become far less in comparison to when they were when you were a senior in high school.
I don't know that I can respond better than Kevin. I'm over here beaming with pride, Kevin. This is awesome. But I will say that the scholarships that we try to promote through Chicago Public Schools, even though CEF is one of them, and several of the scholarships Calculated Genius are aligned to engineers, there's many other opportunities that have no specification around, what your major is. So you really want to make sure that you get connected with both, Kevin, plug, and myself with the College Scholarships account. The Scholarship Alert workbook that I've established and created really just allows you to look through and see everything that we have available. And I'm uploading scholarships literally every single week. And so we just, and I'm also establishing scholarships with scholarship partners. And so we just established a scholarship with PepsiCo that's not even open yet. That will be an award of $50,000 for 3 different students, right? There's not a lot of $50,000 opportunities. Yeah, don't worry, Kevin. You sign up with my resources too, so that you can funnel those out as well. But to his point, there's never enough money. There's no scholarships that we're promoting through Chicago Public Schools where a student isn't awarded. But we also don't have students who get to the end of the school year who are like, oh my gosh, I have so much scholarship money. What do I do? Some of the scholarships that we're promoting, specifically those that are associated with fraternities and sororities, some of them do cut the check to the institution. Others will cut the check to you. So that means that they're willing to support other things that you might need to get you to college, right? Right now we're operating in a pandemic, but the world will open back up again, right? And there are several campuses that are already open. And so what are the travel expenses? Do you need a new laptop? You know, what are some of the things that are associated with you being successful in school? And so several of the scholarships that we promote through Chicago Public Schools allows you to put the money in your pocket to support you getting to college. So I hope that answers your question.
And to add to that, I think it was said, I think Kevin said it, but it bears repeating many, many times. If you're applying for one award that you are qualified for, whether it's engineering or something more general, apply for all the things you are qualified for. Take and piece together these $1,000, like the CEF award is $1,000 to start. $1,000 will not get you far. And so definitely if you're applying to CEF and you're qualified, look at ASCE, look at IPLAC, look at all the different opportunities we put out there, and then take a stroll through Ms. Howard's site and Kevin's site and see what the other resources are. You can absolutely, it's not double dipping. There are scholarships out there. If you meet the qualifications, if you have the merits that they're looking for, definitely apply. And to add to that as well, Ms. Howard talked about awards versus scholarship. Chicago Engineers Foundation is an incentive award, not a scholarship. So when we hand out our awards, call ourselves scholarship because we're part of the scholarship crew here. But when we hand out our awards, we hand them to our students. We mail them to our students if we are virtual. You use it for whatever you need it for. It doesn't go directly to your school. So if you do need a computer, if you need to pay rent, if you need to buy groceries, if you need to stock the ramen noodle soup for those late night study sessions, use the CEF award for that. And so as you're going through the different award opportunities, scholarship opportunities, look at those differences and definitely feel free to reach out to providers and ask them those questions. Does this go directly to my school if they don't tell you? Does it go to me? That will help you figure out as you move forward what your budget is going to look like when you get into that first year of school.
And Debbie, do you mind if I add real quick before we go to the next question? So even when you do all of that, once you get into undergrad, hound the people at the financial aid office and ask them, hey, are there any scholarship opportunities available? Because a lot of times what will happen is you'll get in, you'll get enrolled, you'll get in the hustle and bustle of school, and then you'll forget about the outstanding need that you may have. Or for some of you, you may not have any outstanding need, but you might want some additional scholarship money in case you decide to do a semester abroad, or if you decide to do an internship that may not necessarily pay you anything, but is going to be great for your career. You can leverage your scholarship dollars to pay for those different things. And that way that's less money out of your pocket.
Awesome, thank you. And another guest has asked about majors, whether we would include software, engineering, satellites, things like that.
So for Calculated Genius, we allow applications from any of the engineering degree programs as well as computer science. I know that is also the case for this SWE, Society of Women Engineers, where engineering and computer science are applicable.
The same with Chicago Engineers Foundation. We look to award to any engineering major. So we have any type of engineering major one could think of. We probably have an award recipient currently studying that somewhere at a university somewhere across the country. So take a look through when you get the slide deck, or feel free to reach out directly if you're not sure. A lot of providers will tell you right up front the majors that they cover. But if it's a little gray and you're not quite sure, definitely feel free to reach out. We all list emails and ways to get a hold of us. We strive to be approachable. And so definitely if you have questions, feel free to reach out before you're filling out or as you're filling out your application. We're here to help. And we definitely encourage you to ask questions, because if an application isn't a good fit for you, you can move on to the next one. Then you can focus on the ones that are a better fit, and we're happy to work with you to help you figure out whether you're a good fit for a particular award. Someone is asking if they don't manage to get a scholarship from one of our providers, are there opportunities for students in the future? Let's say they don't get something in 2021. Some of us have awards that go into college, I believe, right?
So NSBE does have scholarship opportunities for all 4 years of undergrad, and actually in some cases for masters as well. So if you do not get it in your senior year of high school, you can definitely reapply all throughout undergrad and grad school.
I believe that is also the same for SHIP, which is this Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. I know that they weren't mentioned today, but you should also look to them to see what scholarships they offer.
And some of the other ones we covered today, we talked about SCEI. Their awards are geared towards current college students, whether they're undergraduate or graduate, and some of the other ones we talked about today as well. And Tom, your awards with ASC Illinois, those are college level students, correct?
Correct. Yeah, those are all for current college students studying civil engineering. And I want to comment to earlier you said talked about whether the money goes directly to the student or the school. Those awards do go directly to the student as well. We cut them a check so they could use it for whatever they want. You know, it's a new computer or anything like that. So there's a lot of flexibility there.
Awesome. And just to answer this question from Chicago Engineers Foundation, our entry point is the graduating high school senior level. While we are a renewable award, we don't have an entry point once someone has already gotten into college, but we do have a page on our website that is devoted to other scholarship opportunities that are all engineering related. And so we've talked about a lot here today. We have a lot on our website. It's under programs, and we'll be sharing that when we send out the slide deck so that you can find that as well. There are many different opportunities that are not just local but nationwide that are geared towards current undergraduate and graduate students. So there are definitely some opportunities there. And then I have a question, it's for CEF, whether we would consider admitting someone who is going into the pre-engineering program at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And my answer to that is not at this time. Currently, we award students who are either undersided engineering or a particular engineering major. We don't currently have a setup for students who are planning to major in pre-engineering. It's not to say that someday we won't, but currently with the amount of awards and applications we receive each year, this is the current focus. So at this time, if a student is majoring in pre-engineering, or if they are planning to start at a community college level, CEF's award application wouldn't apply for this year, but there's definitely applications out there that would. There are scholarships out there specifically for students who are pre-engineering and specifically for students who are heading the 2-year route and then to transition to the 4-year route. Ooh, cool question. And I hope we have an electrical engineer with us today or we're in trouble. What are the qualifications to become an electrical engineer? Do we have one with us today or someone who can answer that question?
I can, Debbie, since I'm sort of close. So I know for Milwaukee School of Engineering, they prided themselves on if you were eligible to enroll into the school, so if you got an admission, you got directly into your major. Now, if you go to some other schools, you may have to do a year, maybe 2 years of general study first, and then apply to that School of Engineering at the major that you want. So for example, if you're at U of I, you do 1 year or a year and a half in DGS, that's their general pool if you don't get accepted directly into the electrical engineering program. And then from there, if you maintain, I believe it's somewhere 3.0, somewhere in that range, GPA, you then apply for the electrical engineering program and then you're accepted. And then from that point, really your junior year is when you start doing those electrical engineering courses. MSOE was a little different. You started out in your major right away. So if that is of interest to you or your student, you may want to consider applying to MSOE or a school like MSOE that does directly admit you into your program. But if you've already sort of selected a school, then refer to the previous.
All right, in the couple minutes that we have left, are there any other questions that folks have that, again, feel free to unmute yourself or you're welcome to put additional questions into the chat.
One thing that I did want to touch upon that I didn't mention for our presentation was that along with scholarship awards, Calculated Genius looks to provide mentorship and career readiness for students, even those that are not awarded a scholarship. So we really want to provide students with the opportunity to see engineers in the field, meet with professionals, ask them questions. Maybe you start out in electrical engineering and you realize that that isn't necessarily what your passion is, and maybe biomedical is more focus. So being able to put you in contact with professionals in the field to support you along your journey, and then career readiness workshops as well. So how to prepare for an interview, what to do when it's virtual, questions to ask, or things that you can be prepared for in advance. So that's just one thing that we do want you to know, even if you apply for the scholarship or maybe you aren't eligible, those opportunities are available for both males and females that are interested in pursuing careers in engineering.
And in addition, I'll piggyback on to what Kelly was saying about Calculated Genius. Chicago Engineers Foundation does have career resources as well. Typically, they're available to our award recipients. So once someone were to receive an award, they then have the option of using any of our career resources throughout the academic year. All are virtual right now, including the mock interviews, the internship placement, the resume development, LinkedIn page development, and then we do, when we're able to, in-person workshops during school break times so that as folks are coming back to the city, they can come and talk to our engineering professionals and continue to build their professional profile while they're matriculating through their 4 years of engineering. We have another question right before we're ready to end, and it says at UIUC, which is University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, they admit some students who have applied to the engineering program to the pre-engineering program, and then after the basic engineering courses, the first 2 years, you apply to the engineering program, which is as Kevin just described. So UIUC does have they have the Granger College of Engineering, and they do have a new-ish pre-engineering track. So there are definitely options there. Some of the other schools are getting there in putting in pre-engineering as well. So thank you so much to our guest for sharing that. Are there any other questions of our panel before we wrap things up this afternoon? All right. Well, as we get ready to close today's session, I want to thank everyone for coming to Engineering Futures Today. This was the very first, the inaugural, but not the one and only scholarship session that we are going to hold with our wonderful partners. Plans are in place, and it's thanks to great suggestions and feedback from students and from counselors and from parents. We'll be doing some more virtual sessions, and we're going to focus on, of course, some engineering related topics, scholarship topics, of course. We're going to look to do something definitely about doing great applications, getting those essays up and running. We did a workshop like that last spring that was very well attended. We're also going to look at doing some college readiness presentations as well, where we'll be bringing in speakers from different universities, engineering programs to talk to parents and students about a day in the life, what it's like to be an engineering student. And you can look towards our social and our peer social channels, Insta, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I think we're all on all of them. And so definitely keep an eye out for those. We're going to keep the title the same, Engineering Futures, and we're just going to change up the topic as we go along. Absolute thanks to all of the great providers who joined us today, Kelly and our friends from ASC, NIhar and Tom, and Jenna, who had to leave a little bit ago. Kevin, Michelle, oh my gosh, thank you so much for providing so much great info to our guests. It has been an absolute pleasure to spend a little bit of eWeek and a little bit of today talking to future engineers.